Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the Section 3 of the Odyssey review. So, in the Section 3, Telemachus arrived at the Menelaus' house together with Pistras, and Menelaus talk about a memory about the Trojan War. And Menelaus he does not know who the Telemachus is, but Menelaus talk about his memory about the Odyssey here. So, thus spoke Menelaus, and the heart of Telemachus yearned as he bethought him of his father. So, Menelaus spoke about Odysseus during the Trojan War. Now, upon listening to the story, Telemachus' heart feels quite pain because as he bethought him, he refers to Telemachus. As Telemachus think about his father upon listening to the Menelaus story. Therefore, tears fell from his eyes as he heard him thus mentioned, so that he held his cloak before his face with both hands. So now Telemachus thinking about his father and feels quite sad and starts crying. But in this culture, I guess maybe the man is supposed to not cry, man is supposed to not show your tear in front of other person. So Telemachus tried to hide his tears with his cloak, with his cloth. And when Menelaus saw this, he doubted whether to let him choose his own time for speaking or to ask him at once and find out it was all about. So now Menelaus recognized that the Telemachus is crying. So Menelaus is thinking whether he should stop Telemachus from crying immediately and ask question why you crying, who you are, also, or he needed to wait until the Telemachus calm himself down. So this part shows that how Menelaus is quite a hospitable person who cares about other colleague who is Odysseus. And also, here Menelaus is also caring about Telemachus, whether, although he does not know who Telemachus is, he still cares about the Telemachus. And never yet have I seen either man or woman so like somebody else as this young man is like Telemachus, whom Ulysses left as a baby behind him. So while Menelaus was talking to Telemachus, and Helen, who is the wife of Menelaus, she comes to Menelaus and she saw Telemachus. And Helen at this moment still does not know the identity of true Telemachus. And she is saying this to Menelaus. She says she is wondering who that young person is. And she's quite impressed with the Telemachus, and she's thinking that maybe Telemachus quite look after his own father Odysseus. So now Helen is suspecting that maybe that young man might be the son of Odysseus, and he is asking this question to her husband Menelaus, because Telemachus so look alike with his father Odysseus. And his hand and feet are just like Ulysses. So his hair with the shape of his head and expression of his eyes. And Menelaus also agree with Telemachus, that he agree with the idea that Telemachus look quite alike Odysseus, and in particular Telemachus' hand and feet. These are the evidence that Telemachus looks so much alike with Ulysses, and Telemachus agree Helen's idea that this young person might be Telemachus, the son of Odysseus. And now after Telemachus, he eventually tells about his own identity to Menelaus and to Helen, and he says, a son has always trouble at home when his father has gone away, leaving him without supporters. And also Telemachus confesses to Menelaus that he had a great difficulty in his house, because while the father is away, all the suitors come visit Telemachus' house and they are destroying Telemachus' house and eating up all this food and like harassing his own mother. So he says that when the supporter is not home, son always have a trouble at home. So this also display the Greek culture between like a close relationship between father and son here. And says, I had always hoped to entertain him with most marked distinction when heaven had granted us a safe return from beyond the seas. So now Menelaus heard Telemachus about his identity. So now Menelaus again continue talking about his opinions toward Odysseus to Telemachus. And here Menelaus said he always hoped to entertain him. Him referred to Odysseus. He always take good care of Odysseus if he is still alive here. And a safe return from beyond the seas. So after Trojan War is over, when Menelaus was coming home, he always thought that once Menelaus arrived home safely, he would take good care of Odysseus, because Odysseus fought so hard for his own country. So Menelaus feel a gratitude. Menelaus appreciate Odysseus' effort during the war, and he want to compensate. Menelaus want to pay back Odysseus' effort during the Trojan War, and he is explaining his own opinion toward Odysseus to Telemachus, how grateful he feels toward his friend Odysseus. And Helen also, upon listening to the Menelaus' explanation of how brave Odysseus was during the Trojan War, Helen also talked to Telemachus about what she saw about Odysseus during the Trojan War. So according to Helen, Odysseus, he secretly entered into the city of Troy, and he fought so bravely, and he killed so many Trojan soldiers. And Helen explains, he covered himself with wounds and bruises, dressed himself all in rags, and entered the enemy's city looking like a menial or a beggar. So Helen explains that he means Odysseus. Odysseus, when he secretly entered into the city, enemy's city, which means Troy, when Odysseus secretly entered Troy, he covered himself. Odysseus covered himself with wound and bruise, because Odysseus at this time was alone. He didn't want to reveal his true identity as a Greek general, so he covered himself with a wound and bruise, and he pretended like a poor, cheap beggar when he entered into the city of Troy secretly. So this scene explains how strategic the Odysseus' behavior, how strategic Odysseus' thinking is in this battlefield, and Helen is praising Odysseus' smart strategy during the war here. So this wraps up the section 3 of Odysseus, and I hope this video will help you to review the material. Okay, thank you. Bye.